What's going on, baseball fans? How are we doing? So earlier, the Mets hired Buck Showalter, and now it's looking like the Oakland A's might have their next manager. Let's go talk about it. Okay, so here we go. Jon Heyman is tweeting out that the A's are closing in on a managerial hire, and the focus appears to be on Mark Cottsey, their current third base coach and longtime major league outfielder. This one I am not really surprised about. The A's, in case you didn't know, their old manager Bob Melvin, they let him out of his last contract to go to the San Diego Padres. The A's right now, it's looking like they're trying to cut costs any way they can, even if it's a couple $1 million from Bob Melvin. With Mark Cottsey, he's been with the A's now for quite a bit. He's been under Bob Melvin, so he's really learned a thing or two from him. So to me, this is an easy transition. You're not bringing anyone in from the outside. Sure, could you go with a Matt Cotrero from the Rays? Could you go with an Espada from the Astros? Yeah, but most likely they're going to cost more money because you're bringing them in from the outside. With Cottsey, he's going to get that promotion. He's going to get that opportunity, and he probably won't cost as much. And I keep talking about cost, but that is a big thing with the A's right now. With the A's as well, they've been trying to, they've been on the trade market with a lot of stuff. I mean, not right now because obviously the lockout, but you've heard rumors all over the place with Matt Olson. Matt Chapman has come up, Chris Bassitt, Sean Manaea. They're trying to cut costs any way they can, especially with these guys, especially someone like Sean Manaea, who's expected to get around $10.2 million in arbitration. Chris Bassitt, 8.8. Matt Chapman, 9.5. Matt Olson, $12 million. To me, this makes a lot of sense to bring in someone like a Mark Cottsey. Mark Cottsey actually did have a very good career. I wouldn't say very good, but a very solid career overall. If we take a look at the numbers, typing is hard. I cannot type. Mark Cottsey had a very respectable career. He was a very hard-nosed kind of a player. I ended up playing for my Red Sox a little bit, but he was with Oakland for a little while there. With Oakland, he actually played really well. Hit 282 in his career there, a 336 on base. A very hard-nosed player in his career. I feel like Cottsey, this is a guy, he gets a lot of respect, from players around the league. Mark Cottsey, I think he'll be right at home as the manager of the Oakland A's. Now, for Oakland, what else is going to happen here? Like I said, you're trying to cut costs any way you can. I mean, who knows what this Oakland A's team is going to look like next year? I mean, as of right now on paper, Oakland is not a bad-looking team. They actually still have, some good players here. But with these guys, they're most likely going to be shipped out from what, according to all the reports that we've been hearing. If we go take a look at some of the values on baseball trade values, if you take a look at someone like Matt Olson, he's got a $45.3 million value. It's going to take a pretty little package to bring over a Matt Olson. The Yankees are the one team where they were connected with Matt Olson a lot. You've heard the Braves, if they, if they're not able to bring back Freddie Freeman, they could go after someone like a Matt Olson. If we go take a look here at the depth chart, for the projections for next year, some teams that could really use some first basemen. As of right now, like I said, the Braves, without Freddie Freeman, they're kind of they're in the doghouse right now when it comes to the projections at first base. The Diamondbacks, could they maybe, go out and look for someone, an offensive boost? You do have Christian Walker, good glove, but is he really going to give you that much offensive pop? I don't know. Seth Beer, I actually would like to see what Seth Beer could do. There's even been, some mentions on the Twitters. Could the Red Sox get involved with Matt Olson? I don't think so. And then if you look at the Yankees right now, as of right now, they do have Luke Voit, but Luke Voit is always an injury problem, always an injury risk. He's always having problems with the injuries. So maybe they're looking to try and get a sure thing at first. Matt Olson will be phenomenal. If you take a look at someone like a Matt Chapman, I feel like the team you hear connected with Matt Chapman a lot are the Mets. If we take a look at the current third base projections for next year, if you take a look, there are some teams, absolutely. I feel like personally, I talked about the Diamondbacks a second ago. I feel like the Diamondbacks would be great for Matt Chapman. I think that would be a nice upgrade. They have said they want to improve the defense there. Matt Chapman would be great defensively there. If we take a look, a team like the Blue Jays could be a really good fit for him. And again, you have the Mets. Eduardo Escobar, he could move around. He can go play second. If you get the universal DH, Robinson Cano could definitely, be that DH. Escobar can play second, and then you could have Chapman play third, and maybe you could even do some kind of a package deal with, Chapman and Manaea, maybe Olson and Manaea. And then you even got, someone like Chris Bassitt, where he could be a solid addition to the middle of any rotation. If we take a look, at the current projections right now for starting pitching, the Twins, to me, they're a great fit for, guys like Manaea or Chris Bassitt. They could really use some starting pitching. Maybe the Rangers, with Oakland, they're trying to cut money. Would they be okay trading in division? I don't think it would be that big of a deal. Plenty of other teams could use some starting pitching. Maybe the Tigers, could get in on someone like a Chris Bassitt. I think that could be a good fit. Again, the Diamondbacks, they really could use a lot of upgrades. There's a lot of spots. Even the Guardians, why not? Maybe add some starting pitching. A bat like Olson would be huge for them. I don't know if they end up doing that though, but there's a lot of different things here that Oakland can do. But with Mark Cottsey, getting back to him, that's what this video is about. With Mark Cottsey, from what we're hearing, Mark Cottsey is going to be the next guy who, and if these guys end up, going elsewhere, he's going to have a very young team to manage to get through most likely a rebuild. And are they even going to stay in Oakland? Could this be a team that ends up being in Las Vegas sooner rather than later? So it sounds like Mark Cottsey, could he end up being more of a transitional kind of a manager? Oakland, give them a few years. If they do end up move to Las Vegas, build up some of the, and also I want to point out one more thing with Oakland. Another thing that they could use is just some prospects overall. If we take a look at Fangraphs at the farm system rankings as of right now, Oakland, they are 29th. Oakland really, if they're trying to cut costs, I mean, it makes a lot of sense to be able to trade some of these guys away and get back some good prospects because they really need it in their minor league system. So from what I'm thinking here, Mark Cottsey, could he end up being a transitional kind of a manager? It depends on how these A's end up doing over the next 3 to 5 years. But they are looking like they're definitely going through some kind of a major rebuild right now. And Mark Cottsey, I think that says a lot because he is going to be cheaper. Now, if they went after someone like a Matt Olson or Espada, that would kind of say to me they're really serious about, competing. And I'm not saying they're not serious about competing, but with Mark Cottsey, it's an easy fit. It's an easy transition. And they're taking a chance, on someone that, let's be real. I think Matt Olson and Espada, they could be, more, I think they just could be better managerial candidates than a Mark Cottsey. He has been interviewing, so I'm not saying he would be a bad manager by any means, but Cottsey, it's an easier, pick for them, I would say. But I think it's a good pick overall because he knows the organization. He's very familiar with that organization. Overall, I like the move. I think it's, to me, I think it's like with Buck Showalter with the Mets. I think it's a good fit. Mark Cottsey, again, will he end up being a transitional kind of a guy? Who will be the manager for the A's maybe in 5 years from now? Are they even going to be called the A's in 5 years from now? We'll have to wait and see. But let me know what you think down below in the comments. Do you like this move for the Oakland A's if it indeed ends up happening? What kind of moves do you think Oakland needs to make? I mean, tell me, what are some trades that you would do for Matt Olson, Chapman, Manaea, Bassitt? Let me know. But that's all I have for right now, everyone. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.